Love is a cherished part of life, and many yearn for a meaningful connection. However, finding the right partner can sometimes feel easier than becoming the right partner. Elvis Presley and Priscilla Booley's relationship exemplifies this struggle. After dating for 7 years, their marriage lasted just 4 years before ending in divorce. Their initial joy seemed to fade, leaving fans wondering what went wrong. One major factor was the significant age difference, with Elvis being nearly a decade older than Priscilla. This gap created a power dynamic that influenced their relationship. Priscilla entered a world of fame and pressure at a young age, which often left her feeling isolated. As Elvis's career soared, he became increasingly focused on his music and public persona, sometimes neglecting their emotional connection. Moreover, the pressures of celebrity life took a toll. The constant scrutiny from the media and fans added stress to their marriage. Priscilla struggled with the demands of being a wife to a superstar, and the couple faced challenges in communication and intimacy. As time passed, the couple grew apart, with differing priorities and lifestyles. Ultimately, these factors contributed to a relationship that, despite its early promise, could not withstand the trials of fame, age differences, and personal growth. Fans continue to ponder how such a celebrated love story could unravel so quickly, leaving behind questions about the nature of love and compatibility in the face of life's complexities. Once upon a time, a king was born to rule with a rare musical talent. Although he did not have a physical palace, this king captivated his subjects with animated interpretations of melodies and a sexually stimulating musical talent that drew the love and passionate admiration of millions. However, every king needs a queen to help manage his kingdom, and this king was no exception. Amidst joy and fulfillment, he found his queen, Priscilla. Their love story began in November 1959 in Germany, when Elvis was stationed there as part of his service in the U.S. Army. At the time, he was 24 years old, while Priscilla was just 14. Fate brought Priscilla to Germany that same year because her father was in the Air Force. During her time in transit with her younger sibling, an Air Force man approached her and encouraged her to meet Elvis. This chance encounter marked the beginning of a relationship that would capture the hearts of many. However, as their love blossomed, questions arose about the nature of their union. While it seemed perfect, the saying goes that not all that glitters is gold. Love and marriage can sometimes be fleeting, leaving those involved feeling empty and regretful. The brief history of Elvis and Priscilla's relationship has left many wondering how it all began and what challenges they would face in the years to come. Elvis Presley, the legendary rock star, had a life filled with both dazzling highs and challenging lows, particularly in his marriage to Priscilla. Their union was often viewed through the lens of fame, but it was also a deeply personal journey. Many have speculated about the nature of their relationship, questioning whether it was destined for greatness or fraught with complications. Elvis was not just a performer. He was a cultural icon who brought joy to millions through his unique style of singing and dancing. His rise to fame as the king of rock and roll was marked by a distinctive sound and charisma that captivated audiences worldwide. However, beyond the spotlight, he shared a life with Priscilla, a woman who became an integral part of his story. Their relationship began when she was just a teenager, and it evolved into a marriage that faced public scrutiny and personal trials. The couple's journey as parents and partners was complex, filled with love, but also challenges that ultimately led to their separation. This publicized union left many wondering about the true nature of their bond and the factors that influenced their relationship. Elvis's legacy as a musician is undeniable, but the intricacies of his personal life, especially his marriage to Priscilla, remain a topic of fascination and inquiry as people continue to seek answers about their uncommon union. With approval from her father, who communicated to the Air Force commanding officer in charge for a pass, Priscilla proceeded to meet Elvis. At the time, Priscilla was a lovely teen in 9th grade, and she appeared in a navy and white seaman dress as she visited Elvis at his temporary platform somewhere in Bad Niem. The moment she arrived, Priscilla instantly captured his attention. It was reported that Elvis played many of his tracks, especially Are You Lonesome Tonight, as part of her reception. The reason for the instant affection may not be readily known, but an indication suggests that she reminded him of his late mother. Elvis confided in his friend Rex Mansfield that Priscilla was young enough that he could train her any way he wanted. Before she left that day, Elvis made sure to book another date with her, where he was reported to have planted a kiss on her lips. Their feelings were mutual, so there would be another meeting soon. After her fourth visit to Elvis, Priscilla's father wanted to meet him. During this meeting, Elvis was quoted saying, "Well, sir, I happen to be very fond of her. She's a lot more mature than her age. I enjoy her company." This response eased her father's concerns, and the two continued to meet without restrictions from her parents. Despite their secretive meetings, both Elvis and Priscilla kept their lips sealed about the nature of their relationship. Priscilla would often visit his room, but their relationship remained platonic. As time went on, when Elvis was preparing to leave after one of his missions, Priscilla expressed that she was ready for sexual intercourse. Elvis, however, gently refused, saying, "Someday we will, Priscilla, but not now. You're just too young." This moment highlighted the complexity of their relationship, marked by affection and respect, while also emphasizing the boundaries that Elvis felt necessary to maintain at that time. Their connection was deep, yet it was also defined by the careful consideration of Priscilla's youth and maturity. As Elvis left Germany in 1960, the expected separation marked a new chapter in his life. Though miles apart, the passion between him and his love continued to flourish, this time through letters exchanged in pink envelopes. This unique touch allowed Elvis to easily identify her letters among the thousands he received from fans. 2 years later, Elvis made a heartfelt plea to her parents, asking for permission to have her visit him in Los Angeles. The 2-week stay was carefully arranged under chaste and strict rules, which ultimately convinced her parents to agree. During this time, their romance blossomed, filled with sweet exchanges and dreams of the future. Elvis suggested that she complete her high school education in Tennessee, assuring her that he would marry her soon. This promise kept their love alive, even as they navigated the challenges of distance and the demands of their respective lives. Their connection remained strong, rooted in letters that carried their hopes and dreams for a shared future, making each word a reminder of their bond. In Tennessee, Priscilla found herself at the Immaculate Conception High School, a place where she began to navigate her life away from home. It was during this time that she settled into Graceland, Elvis Presley's famous mansion in Memphis. Their life together was anything but conventional. For years, they lived as a couple, surrounded by the glitz and glamour that came with Elvis's fame. Priscilla became accustomed to the rumors swirling around them, as Elvis's boisterous lifestyle often drew attention from the media. Gossip about his alleged affairs, particularly with Hollywood talents like Nancy Sinatra, became a constant backdrop to their relationship. Elvis brushed off these rumors, describing his connection with Nancy as brief, yet Priscilla felt the sting of jealousy and hurt. Despite her feelings, she promised herself that she would see him again, but it was clear that Elvis held the reins in their relationship. The pressures from the media and the public scrutiny weighed heavily on Priscilla, shaping her experience as she navigated the complexities of love and fame. Elvis Presley's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, often had concerns about the effect Priscilla's relationship with Elvis was having on his career. Despite the worries, Elvis took a bold step by proposing to Priscilla during the Christmas season of 1966. By May 1, 1967, they exchanged vows in Las Vegas. Elvis and Priscilla shared their first intimate encounter on their wedding night. 9 months following their nuptials, their only daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, joined the family on February 1, 1968. Despite the naysayers, Priscilla was able to remain close and support Elvis throughout this time. Priscilla had a deep commitment to Elvis and often shared how she prepared herself to be a loving wife. She made it a point to always greet him at the door with warmth and affection. Priscilla took joy in pampering him and found great happiness in caring for Elvis, expressing her love through the meals she prepared. Their relationship was filled with fun and intimacy, so much so that they developed their own special language. This private jargon allowed them to communicate in public without others understanding, creating a unique bond between them. However, their journey took a difficult turn when, 7 months into her pregnancy, Elvis made a request that left Priscilla heartbroken. He asked for a temporary separation for an unspecified period, which traumatized her. This moment marked a significant and painful chapter in their lives, contrasting sharply with the joyful beginnings of their union. The complexity of their relationship reflected both the love they shared and the challenges they faced. "Scylla, I have to have time to think. Things just aren't going right. It'll be good for the two of us to take a little time off, like a trial separation. We need to be apart from one another for a while." These were Elvis's words, and they cut deeply when she realized she had done nothing wrong. It was purely about him going through some things. At that time, it was clear that his career was not thriving as it once had. Between January 1967 and May 1968. Only 2 out of 8 of his singles managed to break into the top 40, and none reached higher than number 28. This decline in his musical success weighed heavily on him, contributing to his feelings of uncertainty and discontent. The pressure of fame and the changing music landscape likely added to his struggles. The separation seemed to him the only solution to find clarity and perhaps rediscover himself away from the pressures of his career and personal life. He felt that stepping back could help both of them understand what they truly wanted and needed moving forward. Priscilla expressed her belief that Elvis did not truly intend to leave her, as that was not his character. However, she came to understand that he had significant concerns about how having a baby would impact his life and career. She noted that he wondered whether his fans would accept him as a father and husband. This uncertainty made her feel uneasy, as she questioned whether his loyal followers would still support him. It took her time to process these feelings, but eventually, she responded by saying, "You've got it. Just tell me when to leave." This moment came during the production of Live a Little, Love a Little in 1968. When Elvis made the decision to leave for an extended period, he left behind Priscilla, who had recently given birth to their child. Their relationship had lasted for some time before they faced the separation in 1972, highlighting the complexities of their life together amidst the pressures of fame and family. Amidst the glamour of his wedding day, Elvis Presley was reported to have secretly wept before taking his vows. This moment of emotional turmoil stood in stark contrast to the lavish celebration surrounding him. Despite the joy that filled the air, Elvis was said to be hesitant about entering into marriage. Alberta Holman, who worked as Elvis's housekeeper, claimed to have witnessed him crying before the ceremony, adding a layer of intimacy to the story. When Priscilla, his bride, inquired about his somber mood, Elvis expressed his feelings with a poignant statement, "I don't have a choice." This revelation raised questions for Priscilla, who was curious about why he approached family life with such a heavy heart. The juxtaposition of Elvis's public persona and his private fears painted a complex picture of a man caught between the expectations of fame and his own emotional struggles. The wedding day, meant to be a celebration, became a moment of reflection for Elvis, highlighting the internal conflict he faced as he took a significant step in his life. Amid the whirlwind of fame and fortune, Priscilla found herself in a challenging emotional landscape. The media buzzed incessantly about Elvis, highlighting moments of vulnerability, like when he reportedly cried over their marriage. This scrutiny intensified Priscilla's distress, especially since she had not initially desired a proposal from him. As the pressures mounted, she sought solace outside their relationship, leading to a brief romance with her dancing instructor. This affair, which she later expressed regret over, stemmed from her longing for more than what she felt she was receiving from Elvis. In the backdrop of Elvis's soaring career, Priscilla and their daughter often felt abandoned at Graceland, surrounded by whispers of his relationships with various co-stars and notable women. The constant gossip became too much for Priscilla, prompting her to stop reading newspapers altogether. The media's relentless focus on Elvis's personal life created a painful juxtaposition to her own, as she navigated the complexities of love, fame, and motherhood, often feeling isolated in a world that was both glamorous and harsh. Some reports suggested that Priscilla was pregnant, which fueled gossip about why Elvis married her. This gossip was not only bold, but also hurtful, leading to much speculation about their relationship. Eventually, in 1973, the couple decided to officially divorce. 4 years before Elvis's untimely death, despite the separation, their divorce seemed more like a mutual understanding rather than a bitter end. They were seen leaving the court hand in hand, which illustrated their continued bond. Even after the divorce, they remained connected and shared the responsibility of raising their daughter, Lisa Marie. At this time, Elvis's health was deteriorating significantly. His struggles with drug dependency were well documented, and there were reports of him overdosing twice within a year on barbiturates. One of these incidents was particularly severe, resulting in a 3-day coma. This decline in health added another layer of complexity to their relationship as they navigated co-parenting while facing personal challenges. Despite the end of their marriage, the love between Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley remained strong and supportive. They continued to share a bond that transcended their romantic relationship, showing mutual respect and care for one another. Elvis recognized the unwavering love Priscilla had for him and did not take it for granted. He played a significant role in her life, contributing greatly to her career. One notable example of this support was when he helped her establish her first store in 1973, highlighting his commitment to her success. Living with the pressures of being married to the King of Rock and roll was not easy for Priscilla. Many believe they were pushed into their marriage, but Priscilla herself did not share that sentiment. She reflected on their beginnings and the challenging journey they faced together, one that was filled with ups and downs she never anticipated. Over time, they found that their relationship was more beneficial as friends rather than as a couple, allowing them to support each other in different ways. Their connection evolved, demonstrating that love can take many forms, even after a marriage has ended. Many people thought that the wedding between Priscilla and Elvis was sudden, but in reality, they had been discussing it for a long time. Priscilla explained that the day he proposed was not the first time she had heard about the idea of marriage. There was no rush in their relationship, even though they had been dating and living together for about 7 years. Priscilla noted that cohabitation at that time was not viewed positively and could lead to pressure. After their marriage, Elvis often had to be away for work, which meant he missed important dates and events. This created a dilemma for him, balancing his career with his love for Priscilla. It became routine for Elvis to be away for weeks, returning home only to leave again shortly after. This lifestyle was challenging, as it made it difficult for them to share their lives fully, yet their bond remained strong despite the distance. It was not happy times for both, especially for Priscilla, who had to adjust to a life that was not what she had imagined. She often found herself reflecting on the difficulties of her situation. Priscilla wanted to be supportive, but it was hard for her to understand why things had to be this way. Disappointment lingered in her heart, but she learned to cope with it over time. Living one day at a time became her mantra, as she hoped that the challenges they faced would not last forever. Each day brought its own struggles, yet she held on to the belief that perhaps things would eventually work themselves out. Despite the uncertainty, Priscilla felt she did not have much choice in the matter. The thought of being alone filled her with dread, sending a chill down her spine. She wrestled with the idea that she might have to navigate this life on her own. But deep down, she clung to hope, believing that brighter days were ahead. She tried to focus on the present, knowing that worrying about the future would only make things harder. As she adjusted to her new reality, Priscilla remained determined to find joy in the little things, keeping her heart open to the possibility that love and happiness might still find their way back to her. As Elvis's fame soared, so did the attention he received from women. This growing popularity created a whirlwind of female admiration that left Priscilla feeling anxious and uneasy. She noticed that the more successful Elvis became, the more women seemed to flock to him, showering him with flattery and affection. This constant attention made Priscilla nervous, as she felt a need to be by his side at all times. She even accompanied him to seemingly mundane places, like dental appointments, just to keep an eye on him. Priscilla believed that it felt like every woman in the world had their sights set on Elvis. Despite her vigilance and efforts to monitor the female admirers surrounding him, she often felt powerless to change the situation. The reality was that there was nothing she could do to stop the waves of attention directed at him, which only intensified her insecurities. The struggle with jealousy and the desire for closeness defined much of their relationship, as Priscilla navigated the challenges of loving a man who was adored by so many. It did not take long for Priscilla to realize that marrying Elvis was far more challenging than she had anticipated. The excitement of their initial romance quickly faded, revealing the harsh reality of sharing her life with a man who belonged to the world. Elvis was adored by countless women, and Priscilla often felt like she was competing for his attention. The initial fanfare of their marriage soon gave way to emotional pain and numerous marital difficulties. Priscilla began to see herself as Elvis's living doll, molded to fit his desires and expectations. He had strong opinions about her appearance and behavior, insisting that she wear makeup and dress in a certain way. This control extended to one-on-one lectures on how to conduct herself, which significantly influenced her personality. Over time, she lost her sense of self, struggling to maintain her identity while trying to please the man she loved. The weight of these expectations created a strain on their relationship, leading to a complex dynamic filled with both love and conflict.